Hey everyone, my name is Bianca Fortes, and I'm doing this assignment for my Nursing 4400 class, and it's a population class, and what the theme is about vulnerable population. And so my group is undocumented immigrants. And first of all, undocumented immigrants hold near and dear to my heart. I know so many of them. I have friends and family, and they have gone through so much. So I'm just going to talk about some things here that you'll see coming up next. So in the history about undocumented immigrants, the first immigrants had arrived in North America around the early 1600s. And so in 1790, Congress passed the first law about who should be granted U.S. citizenship. So without citizenship, non-white residents are denied basic constitutional protections, including the right to vote, own property, or testify in court. So the population size is, according to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, 12 million illegal aliens, as they say, were living in the U.S. in January 2015. According to the Salt Lake City Tribune, it states 95,000 illegal immigrants lived in Utah in 2016. And it also reports that the greatest population immigrate from Mexico. 75% are from Mexico, 5% are from El Salvador, and 4% are from Peru, and then the rest is from other countries. So what makes this population vulnerable is that they are rooted in their inability to call upon the basic protective functions of the state in which they reside for fear of deportation. Unfortunately, they cannot turn to the government for help. So in the previous slide, I talked about how undocumented immigrants are denied constitutional protection, and that includes not having insurance for access to health care because of them not having documents. Concerns that affect this population is fear. Fear of becoming deported, fear of coming home to their loved ones being taken away, fear of stability for their future lives because of not having documents. They may be getting paid under the table by some employers, I'm not sure, and not having any benefits for retirement savings. The root cause, based from Ramaji and Nogulas in 2015 article, is because they are unable for financial and other reasons to obtain lawful entry papers. The undocumented are forced to take risky journeys to their destination state. Many immigrants die en route, facing heat exhaustion, and violent criminals in the desert south of the U.S. border are deadly exposure and capsized vessels on sea routes to Europe and Australia. So on the bottom, the second to the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of needs is safety, and these type of people need safety. Like previously discussed, undocumented immigrants are in fear of being taken away. They do not feel safe right now with immigration raiding areas. They have no security of employment and resources. The needs met are the physiological and a part of love and belonging. According to the article, they have the right to have rights. So in the article of the Ramaji and Nogulas in 2015, the reason why the only part of love and belonging is they get love from their loved ones and others who support them. Then there are citizens of the U.S. who want undocumented immigrants out of the country. and they will protest. So in the esteem column, it is difficult for undocumented immigrants to achieve because of people protesting and having hate around this world. Having respect for those protesters is not really there for these people to respect these protesters who are against them. That's a cool transition there. Undocumented immigrants are at higher risk for communicable diseases or infections. In the article by Rothstein and Kaufman, it states, people who live in the shadows, fearful that contact with any government officials will result in their arrest, deportation, or other highly undesirable outcome. Their refusal to comply with the group-based or individual quarantine would threaten the spread of disease and endanger the health of an entire population. So in the website of Center for Immigration Studies, it shows that the detention centers that had illegal aliens detained had outbreak of measles, mumps, and chickenpox. They were quarantined because of exposure to vaccine-preventable diseases. A way to prevent this is some places host free flu shot clinics, and they do not ask for insurance, and it is a great way for undocumented immigrants to get the vaccines they need. Okay, so for non-communicable diseases, these Hispanics are the leading cause for death for Hispanics is diabetes and heart disease. And a way for prevention is early screening and family history. And again, this could be done by clinics that are like free clinics that don't ask for documentations. So, in the article by Fishner in 2015, it talks about how a French teenager cut his hand to avoid deportation. The teenager was arrested and had medical treatment and did not have to fly back to his country at the time due to recovery. In detention centers, anxiety is high for many undocumented immigrants. They are probably worrying about their children, spouse, and other family members. They are worried about what is going to happen to their life. To prevent this is to get rid of these detention centers, but as of right now, that is not happening because of this government that's going on right now, and they want to protect the country. So undocumented immigrants are at risk for being harmed as well from people from unwanted, like feeling unwanted and people protesting against them and causing violence. Before we do the references, so with all this hate in the world, lately we've been seeing videos go around social media how government employees get aggressive with arresting these people is painful to watch. I've seen a few of them. A way to prevent this is that employees of immigrations and custom enforcement are not as harsh with the immigrants, and that the immigrants listen and follow directions so that the situation does not escalate. In the end, I know that immigration and customs enforcement are doing their job, and their job is to prevent terrorism, combating illegal movement of people in this country. My only desire is that there is a different way to do this, and that if the undocumented immigrants have no history of criminal records and just want to have a better life for themselves and for their family, then they should have the opportunity to become a citizen of the United States. But that's just my opinion. But thanks for listening and watching this PowerPoint. Here are my references. Thank you.